everybody, good morning. It's Jamie, the crafty DIY guy, and I'm back. I've got a red truck DIY video for you today that I'm super excited about. Now, I'm a little bit of a bonehead. You may have received a notification saying that I uploaded a video, and then you couldn't find the video. Well, that's because I forgot to include this introduction and my hello. So I redid the video and uploaded it again. I apologize for that, you guys. And I, of course, had to do this because I wanted to thank my OGs and my long-term subscribers, my long-term friends. Also, I wanted to say thank you, of course, to the newbies that are on the channel. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me. And as you get to know me, you'll realize that I do bonehead stuff like this all the time. And then also, of course, if YouTube recommended the video to you, thank you, YouTube. I truly appreciate that. I'm sorry for the funky shadowing right now this morning. I wanted to get this done really, really quickly so you guys could see the video. All right, take care. And again, I'm sorry for being a bonehead. Right, everyone, and for our first red truck project, we are going to be using a toy red truck that I picked up from Hobby Lobby last year. Also, I'm grabbing a block of floral foam that I had from Dollar Tree, and then I had some miscellaneous green pieces and floral pieces left over from a wreath that I did earlier this year. Go ahead and take your floral block and just fit it in the back of your truck. I should have probably just gone and grabbed a kitchen knife for this, but I ended up using my little pink shears from Dollar Tree, and it worked out just fine. I just kind of snipped through it as deep as I could and then just literally broke it in half, and it fit perfectly inside the back of the truck. I then filled in the side of my floral foam with some of my green pieces. These are just kind of miscellaneous pine pieces or wreath pieces that I had left over, and I'm just kind of filling those in around the actual floral block themselves, just so you don't really see any of that, and it also adds a little bit of nice definition for the floral arrangements that we're going to be doing. I'm going to go ahead and prep all my floral pieces by taking these longer pieces that I have and just trimming them down with my Lineman pliers. These pliers are fantastic. I absolutely love working with them, and there's a link in the description box below if you want to go ahead and get the newer version of my pliers here. They really are great for several things. Now, what I'm going to do is just kind of arrange a couple of them, or at least kind of see how they would look once they go into the floral block. You may have to trim them down a little bit because, as you can see here, it's definitely going to be a little bit too tall, or at least for the arrangement that I'm going to be doing. Now I'm going to go ahead and just snip those ends and just kind of arrange them in my floral foam block. That was hard to say for some reason, like so. And then I will just begin filling it in with other little pieces from my miscellaneous scrap pile. I'm super happy with the way that this one turned out. I think it's super cute. It's definitely a new spin or a twisted spin on the typical red truck. I love the way that this looks on a coffee table. I also think that this would look really cute on the fireplace or even at the base of your Christmas tree next to some presents. Our next DIY red truck is going to be very, very easy. This is actually a gift box that I picked up from Dollar Tree, and as you can see, it's got the great red truck on the inside of it as well. We're also going to use some of these Jenga blocks. I ended up using, I think it was about 8 pieces in total. Now we're going to be turning this box into a tray, so I'm going to go ahead and take 2 of my Jenga block pieces like so, and I'm just going to hot glue them together. You could certainly use wood glue if you wanted this to be a little bit sturdier. The hot glue is just easier for me to use for the sake of the demo. Go ahead and glue those 2 together. If you do this while the glue is really, really hot, it will actually hold together nicely. And go ahead and repeat that with your other Jenga block pieces, so you'll have 2 sets of these in total. Once your pieces have dried, go ahead and just glue them on the sides of your tray, kind of at the top part like I'm doing here. If a little bit of glue oozes out, don't worry about it. Just wipe it away with your fingers. Use your finger protectors if you want to. For my fingers, they're getting pretty used to some hot glue. And after that's dried, you'll go ahead and repeat it on the reverse side as well. And you can just eyeball this and line it up. You could certainly measure it out if you wanted to, but it's pretty easy to figure out where it needs to be. This is not a great shot, but I did add 4 blocks onto the bottom of the tray in each one of the corners, kind of like so. And this is what it looks like when it's all done. I think this is a super cute little tray. I think this could even be a fun project to do with your kids. Perhaps this could be the tray that Santa's cookies and milk are left on. Another idea for this is to decorate the man cave with it by simply adding a bottle of bourbon, a decorative tasseled ornament, a candle, and your husband will never know the difference. Or at least we hope he won't, right? And for my next red truck project, we're going to grab 2 of these ornamental trees from Dollar Tree. Also, one of the wood houses and this LED light set. I also grabbed one of these packages of these wood cutout ornaments from Dollar Tree. I'm just going to be using one of those. Go ahead and remove the backing of your house. You can do this by just putting a little bit of pressure onto it. You could also take a tool like I used my Lineman Pliers and just kind of bang it just a little bit on the inside of that and it will pop that loose for you. Then remove any of the pieces of paper that are kind of stragglers. And then if your back does come off really good and clean like this, keep it because you can actually use it for another project. For the roof of my house, I'm going to go ahead and use one of these aluminum baking pans from Dollar Tree. I'm just going to trim a strip of metal off of this just so it fits perfectly on top of the house. But before I do glue that, I do need to go ahead and stain this. I'm going to use my antiquing wax and just literally just start wiping this on fairly liberally on all of the wood or the pieces that are wood-like, I guess I should say. And then I'm going to take a damp, slightly damp, like very, very, very lightly damp paper towel or dishcloth and just wipe away any of that excess wax. Now it's time to go ahead and start painting my red trucks. I'm going to be using my Arteza Outdoor acrylic paint for this. Even though this project is not going outdoor, I love the way these paints adhere to this wood itself. It's literally just one coat, and I'm using a little bit too small of a brush to begin with, and then you'll see that I end up switching to a larger brush. Again, I'm just going to go ahead and paint the body of the truck red. Then I'm going to paint the wheels itself kind of black with that gray hubcap, and then I'm going to go ahead and paint the railings of that truck in the brown, and then the tree itself green. Pretty straightforward here. I'm not the best painter though. I wanted my truck and my trees to look like that they were in the forest with a bunch of snow, so I'm going to go ahead and add some white felt. I'm literally just going to go ahead and trace the bottom of the house, and then I'm going to double that just to make that felt a little bit thicker than just the 1-ply. The tree ornaments are a little bit taller than the shadow box house, so I'm going to just take my lineman pliers, trim them up to a nice flat bottom, and they will fit perfectly in the shadow box like so. You can glue these directly down to your felt. Once you have your trees arranged and they're nice and stable, go ahead and glue your red truck in like so. For this, I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the tires themselves and also on the back of the truck since it can lean against those trees. Now I did go ahead and glue my metal roof on top of the wood house. It was literally just a little bit of hot glue. And by the way, that aluminum foil will get really, really hot quickly. After I did that, it was time to go ahead and add the lights to the top of my house. I literally just took those LED lights and kind of folded them accordion style. I added just a strip of hot glue across the top center of the house line and then just glued those right into place. And when it's all done, this is what it looks like. I love the way this turned out. I love adding that little LED light Christmas tree right next to the house itself. The lights, as you can see on top of the house, are working perfectly fine, and it is a great addition to my bar. And for my very last DIY, we are going to revamp this Halloween truck that I bought at Dollar General. It was $5. I thought it was adorable, but it's time to upcycle it to the Christmas season. In the back of my truck, I'm going to be adding some of these wood trees. You could either use these from Dollar General, or if you have any of these tree ornaments from Dollar Tree left over, you could certainly use those. I ended up going with the Dollar Tree trees, and I used 3 of them. The first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and paint the body of my truck. I'm using this Waverly chalk paint in crimson. I am going to do the body of the truck in 2 coats of red, and then I'm going to be painting the fenders, the wheels, and the truck rails all different colors. Although I do like the way the truck looks with the black fenders, I am going to go ahead and paint those gray. Also, the truck rails themselves, I'm going to be painting in a dark brown color. And for my trees, I'm going to go ahead and paint them in this darker evergreen color. I love this color, and I think it's perfect for these Christmas trees in the back of this pickup truck. To add these in the back of my truck, all I'm going to do is just add some hot glue. I'm putting a little bit of hot glue on the tips of this first tree. That way I can glue it to the actual truck itself. And then the other trees I'm just going to layer on top of it, kind of like so. I really love the way this red truck turned out. I think it's super cute. I almost think that this could go in any room you want to put it in. I even thought it might be fun to take a strand of the LED lights and string it through the Christmas trees themselves and light the back of that pickup truck up. How cute would that be?